Everybody, no, that's my other sister. Okay, welcome everyone. It's Wednesday, and we are here today with my virtual CFO, Megan Dahle. Welcome, Megan.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning. Yes, I
morning.
had to look at the clock. Yes, it's morning.
It is still morning. This is an interesting topic you wanted to talk about today because I hear this too. I love what I do. I would do it for free. And guess what? I love what I do, and so do you. But do we do it for free?
Only in a few select cases, and I'm the one that picks them.
Yes, yes. So, how do people get out of this mentality? I know I have my suggestions, you have your suggestions. Let's start. You start off the conversation for us.
The lower your prices, the worse clients are going to treat you.
It's so true.
Okay? Like your pricing is a subconscious communication of how you value yourself and how you are teaching your clients to treat you.
Oh my God, you got to say that again because if everyone has to hear it, say it one more time.
Your prices are a subconscious way that you are communicating to your clients, how you are teaching your clients to treat you.
Correct.
Okay. The lower your prices, the less value you are portraying. Your pricing is part of the value that you portray.
And the more price conscious people you're going to attract. So if that's
Right.
not your business model, then you don't, and they're not your ideal client, then you don't want to do that. I want to tell a story here because, and she may watch this later, but one of the interior designers probably 3 years ago came to me and said, I think when she got on my calendar, it literally said, I want to make design accessible to everyone. Everyone should be able to afford an interior designer. And I'm thinking she's on my calendar for a reason though, right? So she got on my calendar. I said, so what's going on? What do you need help with? And she's like, I'm not making enough money. And I'm like, well, I can tell by the tagline and your focus that, and I get it. Everyone wants to do what they love to do and share the wealth and spread it as long and far as possible. But you can't do that if you're trying to have your business support your life. You need the money. Otherwise, why work? She changed her whole business model working with me because she had to. Otherwise, she would have been just continuing to do a hobby that was stressing her out and killing her life because she had no time. So, yeah, we had to up her prices and change who her ideal client was. That's one step. That's one way.
Yes. And I understand that pricing and all of this conversation becomes super uncomfortable. The faster you expose yourself to it and get comfortable with it, like the more discomfort that you take on as a therapeutic way to get used to it. It's kind of like, scared of a spider. It's that, what's that therapy called where if you have arachnophobia or whatever, you expose yourself to the spiders so you get less and less scared of it. It's kind of like that.
Desensitizing yourself.
Desensitizing, that's it. So part of it is like talking about money with your clients a lot. I see this with many new designers whose clientele have never had an interior designer either. Right? Like they literally do not know how to work with an interior designer and what an interior designer does. Their impression is this: I have a friend at my side who's going to guide me. When in reality, you are the artist, right?
Correct.
They are paying you for your art being installed in their home. Completely different relationship. Some people have no idea, right? So how you talk to them and how you teach them about what you do and how you do it and what your boundaries are part of talking about money. You get really comfortable with those conversations that for the first 4, 5, 7, 10 might be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, normally after 3 or 4 times, you start to get the hang of it and it's getting less uncomfortable. And like you said, by 10, you're like, oh, it's all had. I always say in my Profit Insiders groups, one of the first things I say is I'm going to get you to be able to talk about money like you're talking about your breakfast. To get really comfortable with what I have for breakfast, oatmeal. How much is this going to cost? $5,000. like if you're delivering information on what they have said they need, hopefully.
Yes.
If you're off base and you're trying to sell them something they don't need, then you're going to have pushback every time. But doing it for free or doing it for less than is making you profitable is just not smart as a business owner.
Right. Right. And I'm going to put a little asterisk in this right real quick. Like even, even when you have that sales conversation, that's not your last conversation about money,
Correct.
right? Like you are talking about money up until the last check is cut. You're talking about money probably even when you're talking about testimonials and getting those product shots at 6 months after the project's done, and you're coming back and getting those architectural pictures.
Yes, but I also think people sometimes, and I have this all the time with my clients, I have that business helpline, the Voxer walkie-talkie where they're, so I told the client it's going to cost $50,000. And I'm like, why did you tell them that in the first conversation before you've actually met them and really analyze their job and understand it and see where they're at? Like one of the questions I used to ask all my clients when I was an art consultant, have you used an art consultant before? No, was always the answer because being an art consultant is rare. Then I would say, have you done custom framing before or is this your first time? Because custom framing is very expensive and they have no idea. Then I'm going to say, okay, let me explain to you that often custom framing is more expensive than the art itself. And we're matching. And I had to explain why. This is where we want people to get comfortable with explaining their process, explaining why there's a higher fee, how much work actually goes into it, and not be self-conscious about that. Just own it because you're worth it.
Yes. Yes. And so gently raising your prices, right? Like asking for more every time. There are schools of thought out there that you just go and you put that big price tag on it and you slap it on there and you go. It never works. It does not work. You have to believe that you are worth it, right? You even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, you have to believe that you are worth it and you are going to ask for it. Like that's the hurdle to get over, to go out there and just triple your prices off of a whim. It's not aligned with how you view yourself yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, I'll tweak people's prices up after I meet with them and see whether they're confident enough to deliver it. And if they're borderline, and I have this whole scale thing that I do with them, if they're confident enough, we tweak it up slowly and let them deliver that and let them get that. And the minute they get it, they're like, oh my God, Nancy, I got my higher price. Okay, time to raise your price again because you came to me way too low, and we tweak it up. You have to, like you said, value what you do and then be able to explain it well to a layperson, somebody who doesn't understand the process.
So do you also teach a system for raising your prices annually, right? Like there should be something in place where it is triggered, like, okay, it's every 6 months I'm raising my prices, every January I'm raising my prices, something so that it's not like oh, I fell behind the market. I'm at 125 when everybody's at 200.
Yes, but it is hard for interior designers when they're managing projects that with COVID has been taking a year or two or 18 months to resolve. So they can't raise prices if a contract's already been signed. But if they have a break in a contract, I always teach, find your stopping point and your point where you can say, since we started working together, we've had a change in my business model. And to be here for you today, I had to be profitable. So I changed my business model accordingly. And now my pricing is this. They are terrified when they do this. But most of the time, the client's like, oh, okay. And other clients say, yeah, you are really low. Because some people come in so low that, yeah, they're getting tons of work. Sure. You want to charge $95 on an interior designer, you're going to have a ton of work, but you're going to be burnt out, exhausted, not be able to put systems in place that support your business, like hiring and things like that. You need to charge appropriately enough to support the entire business, not just you standing in this little square and you thinking, well, that's like, what's the going rate? $35 an hour? Like, no, you have to run a whole business. So it's not just your worth standing in that square. It's the value of the entire business that supports you being there.
Right. And then I do want to touch a little bit on the free. Like when I said I do certain things for free, not for people really who ask for it though. The people who find me and ask for something for free generally are not going to value what I bring to the table, right? Like they kind of just want to see what I have to say.
Yes.
Not necessarily put anything into actual use.
They're picking your brain.
They're picking my brain.
Yeah.
They're picking my brain.
But
Yeah. So
when do you decide that you are offering for free?
it depends on the mission behind what they are doing. Depends on how well I align with them as a person, as a somebody, like, would I hang out with them anyway?
That's
Like,
that's a
what's
good
going to be the
indicator.
effect? Like, truly, what's my gut feel on what is going to be the effect of this? Is this going to get them over a hump? Is this going to further a mission that I truly believe in? Is it, like, what is the impact? Is it part of my impact that I have always wanted to see out in the world that I'm producing? Then great, like, sign me up, right? Like, I love volunteering at my girls' school. I love doing the things that lift up kids and give them like a real boost in confidence and a real boost in their can do. So, like, I have my vision for the change I want to be in the world. If
Yeah.
you're going to align with that, and I think that I can have a big impact with what you're doing, yeah, if I have
Well,
time.
it's interesting that you're saying this because I'm reading a book and I don't know the name of it, but I'll see if I can try to find it before we
No,
go
I
off.
want to know.
It's it talked about having a personal mission statement, not just a business mission statement, right? And I think a business mission statement is what is the goal of your business. We're highly responsive to our clients. We are always detail oriented and measure twice, cut once, like all those kinds of things. If you're doing a personal mission statement, it's going to address some of these issues like, what am I willing to do for my top priority? So if your kids and your family is a priority and there's a volunteer opportunity, instead of saying no, you're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I would do that and I would do it for free because it falls into my personal mission statement and my goals for my life or
Yeah.
my year, right?
The last thing I want to touch on this part of I would do this for free is actually what I did write, that blog post that you wrote, that you read.
Oh, we should have put that in the link. Go in and put that in the comments after.
Okay. So I would do this for free is sometimes a cover for your an abusive relationship with your business. And I don't mean that in an insensitive way. I mean that sometimes people use this as a mantra to try to remind themselves of, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job, when underneath there's a whole lot of anxiety and fear and even maybe feeling lonely or trapped in your business. They try to paint over it, gloss over it with, I would do this for free. I like this. I like this. I would do this for free, when there's all of these things underneath that are kind of rotten that need to be exposed to light and, fixed.
Well, there's no better way to not address your business problems than just keeping frenetically busy. And if you're going to be frenetically busy, you can do that by offering a lot for free or very inexpensive. Then you never have to address the issues that are keeping you from getting to the level you want to get. I'm just going to be so busy all the time.
Yeah.
You can't help everyone all the time. Otherwise, you just will end up burnt out and unhappy. So do you walk people through an exercise where they figure out what do they really want? Are they in the right business? Are they getting joy from their business? Is it giving them joy and making them money? Like, how do you walk somebody through something like that?
Yeah. So I have what I call 3-dimensional goals. I like to keep a running list of all of my goals. And it's actually a tab on my worksheet that I do with my clients. They're not necessarily personal, not necessarily business related. Sometimes they are, but mostly they're personal. Like, how do you want your business to serve you? Well, I want the lake house. I want to be able to pay for my daughter's wedding. I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z, like all of these monetary things. And then we pick the most important 3 and we plot out how your business is going to pay for it. Right?
Yes.
Like that impact that you want outside of your business, let's support it and let's go get it. So that's one way. The other way is, like, yesterday I just had a client. She's called and she said, Megan, what you said the other day about XYZ, I think what I want to do is I want to be a one-man shop again. I just want to be a one-man shop. I'm getting stuck in the management and I'm outsourcing all of the parts of the business that I actually enjoy. Can I do this? I'm like, you see it? Yes. Because I don't want to, like, put the answer in their head and say, this is what you're supposed to do. Go do it. Because then there's no ownership there. But when she came back with that, I wanted to dance. I was so excited for her. So
Yeah.
excited for her. She's like, this means that I only have to take on those 3 favorite projects a year. I don't have to do X, Y, and Z. Like, that realization,
So
that
hard.
is so, like, I'm not so big on the destination, right? Like I have the 3-dimensional goals, but that is a process, right? I want you to enjoy the process of your business because let me tell you, that little pie in the sky goal of that one moment in time that you reach that pinnacle 5, 10 years from now, it's a 5-minute moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. And
You're
if all you've done is
sacrificing.
focus on that one moment, you're losing the joy all the way up to the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good
You're
way of looking at it.
sacrificing 10 years for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I had a client this morning already that she's just taking on too much. And I said, been there, done that. Recently canceled 2 big initiatives on my plate that made me cry because it was basically I was working for free for those initiatives and living a frenetic business life that wasn't supporting my personal life. So everybody goes through this. And basically what I said to her this morning is, welcome to entrepreneurship. We're always weighing our decisions, weighing what's worth the time, if it's going to bring the money that we want or bring the joy that brings our business to where we want it to be. There's so many factors, and this is always something that somebody is thinking about in their head.
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually said that same client yesterday, and I said, okay, we're making this decision now, and this is what we're going to work towards. We're going to revisit this like in a year, 2 years. Like your decision, this is not the be all end all final
yes.
answer. We're going to learn things are going to evolve, and we want to continue to ask the same question over and over again of, am I happy? How can I make this work better for what I want?
Exactly. So I think that's a good
No
place.
final answer.
I love it. I love it. No final answer. Do me a favor. Make sure you go into the comments and put that blog post because I read the whole thing, which I don't usually do anybody because it was a really good blog post, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And you got it in your inbox because you're on my email list.
And that's how they have to get on your email list. So put the link because what Megan puts out is really valuable. I want everyone on her email list. And if you need help really analyzing, and it's really like you feel like you're running a decent business, but you're not quite making what you want to make. I mean, that's what I'm here for, but this is specifically what Megan does, the money stuff. Do you want to describe a little bit about how you help people?
Absolutely. That money side of business can be elusive, especially for creatives. So if we're on a timeline, today is today. Your bookkeeper is putting everything in its place up to today. Historically, I don't know what direction I am. Sometimes I'm mirrored and sometimes I'm not. So historically, up to today, your CPA and your bookkeeper are putting things here. But this area of the future is what gives people massive anxiety. So I take what you have in the hopper, what your patterns are, and we can map out what your cash is probably going to look like for the next 3 to 6 months, what your workload is going to look like for the next 3 to 6 months, and where are the warning points, like warning. And then we layer on some things like, can I hire? Is it time to hire? Can I rent an office? Should I have an office? Can I pay myself more? Am I okay? What should I be doing with my cash? Like the things that are making you angsty that you can't see, that seem to be invisible, and there doesn't seem to be an answer because you have that bookkeeper, you have the CPA.
Right. Well, every time we think we have a bookkeeper and a CPA, then we do think we don't have to look at our numbers, but you do. So, I don't have to look at them. They're handling it. And then suddenly you
They'll
realize,
tell
wait,
me if there's something I need to know.
Exactly. And not always available when there's something you do need to know. So learn about your own numbers. It's very helpful. And every one of my one-on-one clients who meet with you are like, oh my God, that was the greatest session ever. And I'm like, okay, good. So, all right, everyone, go have a great Wednesday. Thank you for being here, Megan. And we'll be here next month with our, what do we call this? Money management, which I didn't even put on the screen. All things money once a month with my virtual CFO, Megan. And she could be yours too. She'll put a link in the comments and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, Nancy.